One Punch Man Chapter 169, the conclusion to the Garo arc. Garo is defeated, King threatens everybody, and Genos remembers everything. What's up, guys? I'm Mastar, and welcome to the One Punch Man review. This is the climax of 7 years of content as we lead into the finale and the ending of the Garo or Monster Association arc. And this was a particularly interesting chapter. Saitama forgot everything, and so we have a lot to talk about here. First of all, Garo, we see his face breaking off, and it turns out the armor around his hair also breaks off as well, but he still has like his full monsterification, the rest of his body. Is that gonna fall off, or is it just some sort of super armor he's gonna keep from now on? Like, for the rest of the series, is he gonna be like kind of half monster like this? Kind of peculiar, because he does survive and he does fly away at the end. Garo says something very interesting here. He says, "What happened? It came out of nowhere from a place where I sensed nothing, a punch with enough power to even put that baldy to shame." And again, this is to attribute how powerful Saitama got in their battle in the future in such a short period of time. Literally, probably just a few hours of time, Saitama's power probably went up like 200-fold or more. I don't even know if it's countable in terms, but yes, I guess he's back to his normal self now. I guess he's reverted to his power level essentially before they went off to Jupiter, which is kind of a shame, but I guess it makes sense considering the fact that Saitama doesn't remember anything, so he has unfortunately reverted, but at the same time, we know that he can get that strong again very quickly and very easily as long as he fights a very powerful opponent. So interestingly, Saitama does not remember anything, even though he merged with his past self, he forgot. But the core is still intact, and Genos was able to hook up into his core and see exactly what happened pretty much throughout all of the battles. You get Blast, Garo, he even saw Jupiter, saw Table Flip and everything, and he's gonna go on this huge exposition and basically explain what happened. And I'll give you guys the brief rundown here, but he talks about multiversal theory, and he suspects that the core came from one of the countless parallel worlds that diverged as a result of Saitama's actions. He doesn't know at which point the divergence occurred, but it is confirmed that a new you separated from the original you at the start of your time travel and merged with the you of this timeline. The timing of the separation and merging may be a clue to the timing when the parallel worlds split off. In the future where this core comes from, I was killed by Garo. Even if you were holding back a great deal, there's no way that you could have been outplayed by Garo. No matter how many parallel worlds that existed, you could have never lost. The events surrounding the core have made it clear that even if the worst outcome had occurred with the death of me and all the other heroes right before your eyes, you would have transcended time and space to save us all. Your ability to transcend and manipulate the laws of causality is now proof positive of your completely flawless sense of heroism. As for the principles of time travel, it could be one of 3 scenarios: theory of relativity, and so forth. There's a lot of time travel and multiversal theory out there. If you want to Google it, go ahead. Obviously, none of it's proven, but Genos was able to calculate the data and basically say, even if everybody died, which they did, you would have transcended time, you would have found a way. He says, "Sensei, you leapt through even time and space to save everyone, to save the world. And not anyone in the entire universe besides Sensei knows about that except for me." And he later says, "I need to tell this to the people who need to hear it. It's my job as a disciple." So I think that he's going to tell the Hero Association, and Saitama will probably get promoted to A rank, potentially. But it seems like Saitama doesn't really remember anything. Maybe he does, maybe he's just playing his parody character, but it seems like when he merged with his future self, he basically forgot the future. So all of the heroes start to gang up and beat the crap out of Garo, and he's just taking it. He's like, "Come on, kill me." And Metal Bat actually steps in, tells everybody to cut it out, like he's had enough. And this is because they had their moment when they were fighting Sage Centipede together. I think Metal Bat realized that Garo's not such a bad guy, but Amai Mask is really like leading this, and he wants to execute Garo. Garo at one point even saying, "Go ahead, just kill me." And Amai Mask is like, "Hey, look, he even wants to die, like I'm gonna come kill him." So Saitama's saying like, hey, what happened? Who took down Garo? Was it Blast? And Flashy Flash says, I'm not sure, but this naked man appeared out of nowhere, defeated Garo with one punch, and then flew away. The movement pattern does seem something like out of Blast's playbook, and Blast is going to actually be the one potentially to get the credit for defeating Garo. Surprisingly, it's not King. I would have thought the credit always goes to King, but it appears that Blast is going to be the one to do it. So in the decision to execute Garo or not, Genos says that it's my belief that Saitama is the only one who has the right to decide on how to deal with Garo. He says, why not just let everyone do their thing until they've had enough? Not that it's really having much effect. So Garo is still super powered up. I think that's what he's trying to say here. And Zombie Man says, I need to ask him, do you know anything about God? Was there another source of power that you were using as a catalyst? Because it seemed like some of the other enemy cadre were talking about God as well. To which Garo just laughs it off and says, God, what a load of crap. Everything that happened was all me. But I think he does know about God. At least he doesn't call him God. He just thought he was like some sort of creature or monster that was offering him power. But he probably deep down knows what Zombie Man's talking about. However, it's Garo. He wants to take credit. He wants to die here. And he's saying, hurry up and kill me. Just do it. And as My Mask is about to come in for the killing blow, Tario wakes up and stops him. And then we get this sequence where basically Tario is like, hey, don't kill him. He's a hero. He saved me so many times. King actually ends up jumping in and saying like, hey, there's a kid here, like everybody stop. And this moment was kind of funny. He's saying King Engine maximum output, and obviously everyone's terrified. But again, I think it's really peculiar. King always gets the credit. Like, why didn't everybody think that it was King and not Blast? Basically, Saitama and Bang are going to decide that Garo is going to be able to live because they showed him who he really is, which is basically deep down a hero. And Bang is going to tell him, if you caused harm to people, then you must make up for it 10 times over, 100 times over by saving others. And this is the redemption of Garo. I think eventually we may have a future Garo redemption arc, but yeah, basically what they're telling us here is that Garo is going to become a good guy. He's going to make up for his sins. He's, 10 times over, 100 times over, or whatever. And he seems to be mega powerful. I mean, I think, he's probably equal to Bang, if not stronger in his current state. So maybe he's like, S rank 2.5. I still think Tatsumaki would probably beat him. Whether or not he can move in Tatsumaki's powers, it's a good question. And Saitama even thanked him for saving Genos and King at one point when he came in with that millisecond strike and took out all of the monster cadre. And Garo says, you guys make me sick, and he just takes off. Genos says he'll probably be a repeat offender, and Saitama confirms, nah, he'll be fine. He's not going to become a bad guy anymore, and I really do think he's going to come back later on in the series and be a good guy. Saitama says, for now, Genos, let's just have Dr. Kaseno fix up your arms and legs, and we can start looking for what's left of our apartment. We also get a couple other interesting things that happen here. Metal Knight actually bursts out of the ground, and he starts to eliminate all of the radiation from the nuclear blast. The first time, I guess, that Garo used nuclear fission against Saitama and blew him away. That radiation is still in the air, and it's still being toxic to everyone. And Metal Knight's drones are able to dispose of the nuclear fallout. And he says he's going to do an analytical investigation of the attack, but I'm wondering, why did he just hide underground this whole time? It's super shady. And if you're familiar with the webcomic, minor spoilers here right now, it's believed that Metal Knight is the actual mad cyborg that destroyed Genos' hometown. That's what Drive Knight has been telling him in the current Genos arc of the One Punch Man webcomic, but there's some shady stuff going on right there, so it's not really 100% confirmed yet, but he's definitely a shady character. And one other thing I wanted to point out is when Tario woke up, he saw Garo smiling at him and turning into sand and basically disappearing, which means to me that Garo was able to use the time travel ability to a certain extent. As he was teaching it to Saitama in the last chapter, he said he couldn't perfect it, he hadn't perfected it yet, and Saitama did perfect it, but I guess he was able to do enough of it that he was able to come back and smile at Tario for just an instant or something like that. And yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up the entire arc. Murata did say that there will be one more chapter of some talking, I believe, to kind of wrap all this up, and then he's going to keep going. He said there's going to be a lot more drawings to come, and he's going to jump into, I guess, the Neo Hero Association arc. We're going to get to meet Blast Sun Blue. That should be very interesting. There's a lot of fun stuff in there, but yeah, 7 years, guys. It's finally finally over. Garo is defeated, and I feel like we're so spoiled. I mean, this was just such an unbelievable peak of fiction. I mean, man, did we get spoiled with the art and the combat and the theories and everything. And there's still so many theories to come. And obviously, guys, I'm going to be covering One Punch Man as long as it keeps coming out. Thank you guys for stopping by the video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one.